If Hitler were alive today, have you ever wondered how he would feel about Germany now and how he would feel about modern politics? One could wonder how he would feel about the refugee crisis, multicultural communities, and certain world leaders. One can only speculate. But it is safe to assume he would have some strong opinions and choice of words. Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today we will see how Hitler would feel if he was alive right now. Before moving on to the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to be updated about our latest video, hit on that bell icon. The world now looks incredibly different than in 1945 in almost every conceivable way. The fashions have changed, social attitudes have evolved, another global pandemic and technology have advanced dramatically. Hitler would probably be pretty overwhelmed by the appearance of electric cars, flat-screen TVs, and smartphones. It would have taken quite some time for him to get used to the fact that most people have small computers in their pockets that function as phones and access points to the entire knowledge of our species. Once he recovered from the shock of absorbing all the technological changes of the last 7 decades, Hitler would be pretty upset with just about everything he saw and learned about the state of the country he used to run. Bombs had decimated its ports and railroads. The population had been wiped out by war and his genocides alike, and it seemed as if it might never recover. Germany is now considered a thriving and widely trusted nation on a global scale. Though Hitler would likely be glad to see his homeland doing well, he would be furious about everything else the nation was doing. First, he would see that the flag being flown by the nation of Germany has changed in his absence. When the Nazi Party rose to power in 1933, the traditional black, red, and gold German flag was discarded. 2 new national flags were chosen, a black, red, and white flag and the recognizable swastika flag of the Nazi Party. In 1935, the shift toward Nazism was completed, and the swastika flag became the nation's only official flag. After the fall of the Third Reich and the end of Hitler's regime, the flag was returned to its original black, red, and gold self. This marked the end of the darkest period in Germany's history, and it would make Hitler furious. This is far from the only way Germany has attempted to undo the damage done by the Nazi Party to itself and the world at large. In March 2015, Chancellor Angela Merkel discussed the lingering effects of the war on the nation's identity, saying, "We Germans will never forget the hand of reconciliation that was extended to us after all the suffering that our country had brought to Europe and the world." Speaking of Chancellor Merkel, Hitler would be infuriated if he happened to see her on TV. Leading the country as its first female chancellor, women under the Nazi regime were prohibited from holding executive office or taking any influential role in politics. They were expected to stay home and act only as wives and mothers, giving up all other responsibilities aside from supporting their husbands and having as many German babies as possible. Not only does Merkel not have any children, but she holds the highest political office in Germany. Hitler would be angry again to see that England recovered from the Blitz and that Poland is its own country and still exists, with its beautiful cultural achievements despite its damage in World War II. As he continued to watch the TV further, he would not like he found someone big on censorship. With the Nazi Party devoting countless time and resources to propaganda and crushing all dissenting opinions, the freedom of international and German media would come as quite a shock. Starting in 1934, it was illegal to criticize the Nazi government or even joke about Hitler. Doing so was considered a form of treason. Anti-Nazi newspapers were closed, radio broadcasts and print media were controlled, and propaganda was produced to glorify Hitler and the Nazi Party. If he tried to find some good Nazi literature or his book, Mein Kampf, he would be shocked instead at the wide variety of volumes on the shelves, covering all topics once banned under his authority. The Nazi Party conducted a series of infamous book burnings, targeting books in Germany and Austria in the 1930s. The initial wave of targets included those by Jewish, communist, socialist, anarchist, and pacifist authors, including the works of writers like Albert Einstein, Helen Keller, Victor Hugo, Jack London, and Leo Tolstoy. Eventually, anyone not a vocal supporter of Nazism was a target, and their books were burned. Hitler would fly into a rage seeing a copy of Hugo's Les Miserables on display or a copy of Tolstoy's War and Peace. Of course, these books were meant to be eradicated from German soil. But time marches on, and you can't fight the written word. Today, however, things are quite different. Germany prioritizes sex education, which was made mandatory in 1992. Gay rights have also come a long way since the time of World War II and the loss of the Institute for Sexual Science. Today, there is no censorship of gay people in German media. Discrimination for employment or housing access based on sexual orientation is illegal, conversion therapy is banned, and same-sex marriage has been legal since 2017. Germany is a more diverse place than it was when Hitler was in power, despite all his efforts and the efforts of those like him. Of the 82 million people living in Germany, over 19 million come from an immigrant background. 9.6 million people are living with a disability. There are hundreds of different religious communities, and the nation's constitution guarantees freedom of faith and the right to practice one's religion. Running down the street, increasingly upset and desperate to get away, Hitler would find himself surrounded by all the people he once tried to erase from Germany altogether, walking around him and just going about their lives, happy. At the same time, he would grow more and more miserable. Out of breath, he would stop and look around at the city of Berlin. When he last saw it, it was a city in ruins, destroyed by the ravages of the war. The Brandenburg Gate, once crumbling to pieces, stands fully restored. The Reichstag looks new, now the seat of the German parliament and a place for tourists to pose for pictures. Some spots, however, have been left as they were. The Kaiser Wilhelm Memorial Church, damaged during a bombing in 1943, was deliberately left alone after the war. Throughout the city, the old and the new, there are memorial sites and informational panels commemorating the horrors of the Holocaust and pointing out the buildings once occupied by the Third Reich. The city has been rebuilt, but its history will never be forgotten. Another interpretation of this question is, what if Hitler had never died, or if someone like him was alive right now? Would they be able to abuse the political system to rise to the top and manipulate democracy in their favor so that those who spoke out against them were fired? Or, worse, could someone like Hitler exist who was a powerful and talented speaker able to drum up an exciting rally? Could someone exist that finds a way to control the media by selecting only preferential outlets? Could someone like him exploit economic and social fears to turn one group against another? Say, outsiders like immigrants for political gain? Look around. Hitler was not a godlike villain. He was an average man with above-average manipulation skills who knew how to use fear to get what he wanted, power. Unfortunately, people like him have always existed and do still exist today. Hopefully, we have learned from the past, the time wherein Hitler lived and carried out his atrocities, and can spot the warning signs before another individual was able to act in the way he did. But, as they say, those who cannot learn from history are doomed to repeat it. Sadly, evil does not always look and sound like evil. Sometimes, warning signs are not big red flashing lights with sounding sirens. We have to be astute. We have to be aware. Only then can we spot that Hitler is alive and ready to strike today. With that, we have come to the end of this video. Do you think Hitler is still alive? If so, what would he be doing now? Do let us know your opinions in the comments section below. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Also, don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel. We will come again with more exciting content. Until then, see you.